So let's get into it. All right, welcome, welcome, welcome everyone. My name is Tony Coleman-Brown, and tonight we're going to discuss business systems that work while you sleep. So I'm super excited about this presentation, and we're gonna jump right in. Let me just pull up my PowerPoint or my Canva slides, and we're gonna rock and roll. All right. All right, so let me just do this one thing and make sure that the meeting controls aren't blocking the screen so we can just go. All right. So tonight, like I said, we're going to be talking about how to build business systems that work while you sleep. And once again, my name is Tony Coleman Brown. I'm super excited that all of you are here tonight, and we're going to have a good time. And I pray that you learn some things that, really can help you in your business. So let's just jump right into it. All right. Once again, welcome and welcome. Welcome to the webinar. So, the main goal for the webinar tonight is to teach you how to build business systems that work while you sleep. So, pretty much, this webinar was born out of a conversation that I had with one of my cousins. And I remember she had said to me that she wanted to know what it was like to run a real business. And I think that a lot of people are in that same boat. They're interested in learning how to run their businesses more effectively. And one of the things that I found out about real businesses is that they're not, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. So one of the things that I've learned about real businesses is that they're not built based upon random acts. So they're built based upon structures and systems. So, pretty much structured systems. And tonight we're going to talk about five core business systems that every business needs. And without them, you probably will grow at an inconsistent basis at best. So, basically, your growth will be inconsistent if you don't put some of these systems into place. I remember a while back, when I was in the home-based business industry, one of the things that I used to tell my team, my downline, was that you need to have systems with an S. So I really wanted them to know that it was not good enough just to really focus on one thing. You really had to have multiple systems in place, lead generation, lead nurturing. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. But I can tell you this as it relates to my story with working with entrepreneurs. I've been working with entrepreneurs for over 25 years, and it's probably more like even over 30 years, to be honest with you. And I've noticed a recurring theme amongst most entrepreneurs, and that is that most of them suffer from burnout, overwhelm, and stress. And this comes from them trying to do everything by themselves and never really learning what they need to do to scale their business. And a lot of times what I found is that they have too many tools, and a lot of the tools that they have, they don't really use. So I'm sure many of you have had recurring charges that came up on your bank account. And a lot of times it may be for things that you're not even aware that you have in your business and you really don't use it. But the money just keeps coming out and you haven't really done anything to stop it. Another thing that I've noticed is that entrepreneurs really don't take time out to document their processes and procedures. And when you don't do this, it makes it difficult for you to hire new employees because you don't really have a formal structure in place, no formal standard operating procedures or SOPs. So a lot of times people, may come and, you may struggle to even train your team members. You may struggle uh, to find work for them to do when, in fact, at the end of the day, a lot of the work, you probably end up doing it even when you have employees because you haven't put taken the time out to put together the documentation that you need to properly train your employees. And I've noticed this from the biggest to the smallest of organizations. I used to work at the MTA, and I know that they don't have a lot of documented procedures. They don't have a lot of SOPs in place. And, this really puts your business at risk. So last year, I decided to move into a different space with my business, and I white labeled a software tool, and it has been probably one of the best decisions that I've ever made. And now what I'm doing is helping entrepreneurs to move into this space and to limit their tech stack to just one tool. One of the things that I noticed, I turned 60 this year, and one of the things that I noticed is that as you age, you really get tired. You really just don't have the energy to do all of the things. So I think that as you grow in your business, one of the best things that you can do is systematize it so that it can run and you can just really kind of show up. So that's really and truly kind of my prayer for all of you is that you get to the point where you can, not have to worry about running your business and you can really just show up. So many of you that are here know me, you know who I am, but for those of you who don't know me, my name is Tony Coleman-Brown. I'm a mother of two beautiful young ladies, young adults, and I'm also a wife. I'm an author, I'm a coach, and I'm a friend, friend to many. I'm also a master lead generator and trainer. I've hosted hundreds of workshops and master classes, and I've trained thousands of people over the 30 plus years that I've been in business. I mean, speaking on stages where there's hundreds of people in attendance. I've, done a lot over these years. So, to get into the topic for tonight, I just have to tell you because I see this in my business. I've suffered from this in my business. I've seen this in other people's business. And, as I was putting this together, I really realized that I had a full circle moment. And I realized that this content and this material was like really one of the first courses that I had put together when I talked about focused, finished. It was FFFP, something like that, but it was all about cleaning up your messy business. That was the theme of it. And it was funny because as I was putting this together, I was like, wow, this is really like, cleaning up your messy business, all of that content that I put together years ago. So what was exciting is I said to myself, you can actually regurgitate some of that. But anyway, most entrepreneurs think that adding more tools will help them grow their business. But actually, in the grand scheme of things, adding more tools really hurt your business. And I don't know if you're like most people that I know. A lot of times you see new shiny objects and you think, oh, I need that. And then you see something else and you say, I need that. If you're on this call and you've ever experienced that, drop a one in the chat, or just say me, I've experienced that to let everybody know that they're not the only ones and that they're not alone. But most people have multiple tools for their businesses. They have a tool for email. And basically, that could look like MailChimp, Constant Contact, or Aweber. And they have a tool for their customer relationship management system. And this could be anything like HubSpot, Keep, or you may have a customized tool for your industry that you use to manage your customers. It could be a booking tool or something like that. But you may have something that you have in your business that you use as a CRM that you're paying a monthly fee for. If it's, social media, a lot of people have Hootsuite or Post Planner or any type of tool that you use in your business to push out content to social media. Or if you have your website and you have it on Wix or WordPress or Squarespace or something like that. Or you may have some type of payment processing system that you use, Square, PayPal, whatever. You may do surveys and use Jotform. If you have a membership, you may be using like School or Circle. If you have courses, you may be using Kajabi or Teachable. And I have to tell you that that's like, what is it? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Those are eight tools right there. And you're trying to piecemeal it all together, and it's just wearing you out. So, if you've experienced that burnout with a tool, then, I feel you and I'm right there with you, and I understand what you're going through. But if this sounds like you, like I said, drop a one, say me too, something, put something in the chat to let us know that we're not alone in this feeling, because you may think that, you have too many apps, but you're not getting any results. You may have leads slipping through the cracks, or you may be posting content and not getting any conversions. Or you may feel like, I've been working and working and working and working and working, and you're still not getting any results. So, which one of these sound like you? I know a lot of people tell me that they're posting and they're not getting any conversions, or they're working and they still feel behind. If that's you, then, definitely let's talk about it. But it was definitely me until I found High Level. And High Level is the tool that I decided to white label for my business. And for the most part, I stopped building my business manually and I started building systems and I started incorporating them into automations. And I can tell you, and we're going to talk about it a little bit further along in the presentation. But one of the things that I can tell you is that I used to be that person. And when it really hit me upside the head, it was when I had my first Magic Lead Generation course. And I was trying to teach that course. And I tell you, the way I was teaching it, I was like, oh, I want everybody to have a result. And I pretty much was telling them, use Aweber for email, and, you can link it up to lead pages, and you can, send your leads emails, and then I said, okay, what is the best way that I could teach this course? And then I said, okay, you can build your landing pages in Aweber and just use Aweber. And I mean, and I was just like really, trying to figure it out. And then, I realized that, yeah, this is a good course, good information, but the tech was just all over the place, like do this, do that, use this tool, use that tool. And, that's just not cool. And I mean, and that things are going awry with people when they have to use tools like Zapier to connect one tool to the other tool. Or a lot of people are using tools now, AI tools and tools like N8N or tools like Zapier, and they're connecting all of their apps together using a third-party integration. And I just think that's too much. I started using High Level because I had way too many tools. And today I have to tell you, I have a different level of tech tool stack that I'm really going to get rid of, because now I have too many AI tools. I have an AI tool for this, an AI tool for that. And I mean, and really and truly, AI is built into High Level. Um, I think that with High Level and maybe Chat GPT, that's probably about all you need today. But Chat GPT is changing too. And, pretty soon you're going to see that app filled with ads, and it's not going to be the best user experience anymore. But that's going to be interesting. Um, but anyway, like I said, I would get a lot of tools, and if one software tool integrated with all of my other tools, then I was really, really happy. But at the end of the day, what tends to happen when you have all of these tools and you connect them together, well, software tools have updates, the connections would break, and then that would just create a nightmare because you would have to relink up everything all over again. And that's just too much. Most people really don't have time for all of that. But high level, like I said, changed all of that and I white labeled my own version of it and I call it Optimize Pro. So I'm super, super excited about that. And we're going to be talking about it, but you don't have to worry about this is not a sales pitch for Optimize Pro more than it is a concept and a way for you to look at your business and build systems in your business. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you this. I don't really even care if you use Optimize Pro or not. Use what you're comfortable with, but definitely build the systems. And once we get into that, you will really understand what I'm saying. But what you need to understand about tools is that tools don't always equal growth, right? But systems definitely can help you scale. What you should understand about tools is that tools will help you or someone on your team do the work, but systems will help you remove the work or automate the work. Because I remember I used to say that you need to eliminate, you need to look at everything that you do in your business, and there are three things that you're going to do. You're going to either eliminate it, or you're going to automate it, or you're going to delegate it. And the best thing that you can do is automate and delegate and eliminate. All three are the best things that you can do. So pretty much eliminate, automate, or delegate. And then a lot of times, if you don't know how to even create the automations or utilize certain tools, then maybe you need to delegate and hire someone to do it for you. But there's issues and concerns with that too when you hire people to do things for you. Because I have a potential client that I'm meeting with that had someone to build their website and do all of the things for them. And I've heard this far too many times than I really would like to, where you put somebody in charge of your most vital business assets. And then they leave, they lock you out of the system, they have the username and passwords. You don't have any control. And then you end up losing everything. I've heard that before. That's why I love tools like High Level and my white label version of it, because you don't have to deal with any of that anymore. You can really have everything all in one place where you're in control and you can assign people as team members to help you. But at the end of the day, you are in control of everything. So, what is a business system? A business system is simply a repeatable process that helps you attract leads, nurture relationships, convert sales, and deliver results, but you can do it automatically with automations. So that's a business system. It's just repeatable processes that helps you grow your business and take it to the next level. So, what happens when you do have a business or when you do not have one, right? It's not when you do have one, it's when you don't have one. So when you don't have a system in place, what happens is you pay the price because there is a cost of not having systems. And basically, what you lose is you lose your leads, you have inconsistent income, you experience burnout, you waste a lot of time doing manual work. And you're not just losing time, you're losing money every single day. With the leads you don't follow up on or the leads you never generate, those are potential sales that are just falling right through your fingers. And you don't want that. So, what we're going to do tonight is really teach you how to stop losing time and definitely wasting money with my three-step business systems action plan and method. So for most of you, and if you look at this little image over here on the top right with the 3-day action plan, I do have a guide that I'm currently working on, and this is one of the pages out of the guide. You're going to see a couple of the pages out of the guide. And, this is what I'm working on, and I'll be putting that out really soon, the guide. But I wanted to do this webinar to kind of, talk some things through and provide some value. So, for most of you that are here, you already have an offer, and that's either some coaching or some other services that you offer. It could be anything from accounting services or whatever, or you have some type of product. And now you just need to clean up your messy business and create some systems. So, really and truly, the 3-step method is, I would say create your offer, but most of you already have an offer. So, you may, if your offer is not working, you may want to refine it a little bit. But it probably does work because if you've generated one sale in your business, you can definitely generate another. And if you generated one sale, then you know your offer works, right? So this is what you want to do to build systems in your business. First, you want to audit your tools. This is your tech stack. So, I would encourage you to take some time to look at your business account and see what business tools you're paying for, right? And see how much it's costing you on a monthly basis. And then try to see, look and see which of those business tools you're really getting your bang for the buck from, right? Some of them you may not have even opened in 3 months. If you haven't opened a tool in 3 months, then that's a clear sign that you should probably get rid of that tool. You can always go back to it if you need to, but if you're just paying money, you're just throwing money out of the window, right? That you probably will never be able to get back. So that's the first thing you want to do is audit your tools. The second thing you want to do is map out your customer journey. And we're going to talk a little bit more about all of these things. But the third step is consolidate the processes because most of you probably don't even know, like once a person comes into your business as a lead, what happens? And then what happens after that? That's kind of mapping out your customer journey. And then once you map out the process, because the way it's happening now may not be the way you want it to be, but you can write out the way you want it to be so that you can create an amazing customer experience. And then what you're going to want to do is put all of those systems all in one place using one single platform. So let's break this down a little bit. Auditing, right? When you do your audit for your business, one of the things that you're going to want to do is you are going to want to figure out what tools you are currently doing. And in the guide, I have this worksheet that you can use to do that. So, what are you using for your customer relationship management system? What are you using for your email marketing system? How much are you paying for it? So, what is it actually being used for? Or is it being ignored? What things are duplicate or really disconnected? These are the types of questions that you have to ask yourself. You want to look at the tool. What is the outcome that the tool is supposed to provide you and how much it costs each month? And so then you're going to total up the cost, and that can be your total cost for your investment. I know some people are for booking and scheduling, they're using like Calendly. For their funnels, they're using systems like ClickFunnels, which is very limited. For funnel builders, they can use ClickFunnels, Lead Pages, and things like that. For texting, they're using another tool, maybe Twilio or Easy Texting. For booking, like I said, Calendly or something like that. For memberships and courses, they're using tools like, Teachable. We talked about this earlier, but you figure out what your tech stack looks like and how much it's costing you each month. Okay. And then the second step is mapping out your customer journey. And this is also another page in the guide. And basically, you have to think about what triggers the process, and then what happens step by step in that order, and who is responsible for it, and what tools are you using to make this happen. So, a trigger could be anything like a lead is generated, or a call is received, or an order is placed, or a support ticket is created. So once a lead is generated in your business, first of all, what tools are you using to generate the lead? And then you have to ask yourself what happens once a lead is generated. So, most of the time, most people have a lead magnet, and most times, after a person puts in their name and email address and the whole nine, they usually get the item or whatever it is that you're offering. How do you deliver that? Do you have to manually do something on the back end so that they can get their order, or how does it all happen? This is an important step in establishing your process, because once you know what your process is, then you can systematize it and you can automate it, right? Because, a lead putting in their name and email address and getting access to an item and getting the email and getting the item, all of that stuff should be automated. None of that should be manual. But some people are using, Gmail and this and that, and a form and this and that, and the other, and it's just really, really janky. So they'll have the document and Google Docs and this and that, but it's just all over the place. And this is what you really want to take the time out and figure out all of the steps, because this is going to help you develop your business systems. Okay. So, this is probably one of the most important steps in the whole process. And then after this, you want to really create the systems and you want to consolidate them all on one platform. So, most business processes can be consolidated into one tool, but a lot of people use multiple tools and they have a really crazy tech stack, and it just is a mess. So I'm going to give you an example. So say for instance, if you're using lead pages could be used to generate the lead. Aweber or MailChimp can be triggered to send the email if you have them integrated. Then if a person decides to buy, they go to your payment tool. And then from there, you might manually give them access to their product or service. But today, people like to get access to everything right away. If they book an appointment, they want a confirmation right away. If, they buy something, they want an email confirmation right away. Some people don't mind waiting for the delivery because, of course, some people buy things in the mail and they have to wait for the mail to come. But if you're doing a digital product, they're going to want that delivery to be fast right away. So you're going to have to, figure out how to get that done and how to make sure that it's all automated. But there are a multitude of tools that can help you, but definitely High Level and or Optimize Pro can do it all on one platform, and that is the beauty of it all, that you can get it all done on one platform, which is amazing, right? So, one second, guys. So basically, like I said, you want to put together business systems, right? So here are 5 core systems that you need in your business. And when you put these all together and build out these systems, they will allow you to really run your business and work your business while you sleep. The first system is a lead generation system. That is the system where, you're going to get it set up so that you can capture leads. The second system is a lead nurturing system. And that is the system that you want to put together to nurture your leads because everybody is not going to want to buy from you right away. So, really and truly, people are just not ready sometimes when you just first put the idea in front of them. And some people are ready right away. But because not everybody is, you definitely need a way to nurture your leads. And then there are other people that are going to be ready to go right away. So you're going to want to have that other system in place to help them get going right away. And that's your sales conversion system. And then once you generate that sale, then that customer is going to want to get their items, right? And they're not going to want to wait a long time. I don't know you guys, if you guys know about Canvas Beauty, but I don't know what happened to them during the holidays. But I'm going to tell you, I ordered Christmas gifts from Canvas Beauty. And I didn't get those gifts until way, way after Christmas. So when it came, I was just like, here's your Christmas gifts. But it took like literally 6 weeks for my items to come. And that was really unacceptable. But they were very aware. And one of the things that they did was they had great customer service. So they were very, very much in communications with you. And they let you know that, hey, we're experiencing delays. And if you want to return, we'll be happy to return your items. But we hope that you would wait, because it would be so worth it, whatever. So that was good, but it took a long time. So, you want to make sure that your delivery system is on point and your customer support and your retention is on point. Now, the communication was good, the support was good. Would I order again? Probably, because I like Canvas Beauty, so I probably will order again, and hope that it doesn't take so long. And I know that if I want to give the product away anytime in the future as a Christmas gift, I'll order in October. So anyway, but those are the five business systems. But let's get into it, and let's start with the lead generation system. So, with your lead generation system, this is how you attract people into your world. So, what is the process for you doing that, and how do you facilitate it? So, for example, social media can be, one of the ways that you get people into your business, and really and truly, the social media marketing and planning all your posts and posting out all of your posts and scheduling your posts, all of that can be done using our platform. But how do you do it? Do you put a lead capture page or do you offer a lead magnet on social media and then, post it out there so that people can become a lead? What is it? How do you do it? How do you get people to walk in the door? But if you have lead magnets that you created, our system can host it. You don't have to post it on Google Docs. If you need landing pages or sales pages or video sales letters, it can be done using the system. You don't have to go out and, buy another tool. You can do it all in one, all on one platform. For funnels, a lot of people are like, they hear the word funnels, and I don't know, some people think of a cone, some people think of a funnel cake, right? But funnels are really and truly just web pages that are connected together. So, for example, in a funnel, you might have um, a sales page, a checkout page, and a delivery page, and a thank you page or a thank you page, right? So, for the most part, what happens is funnels align in steps. And, like you may have a sales page, and then you may have a customer delivery page, but you may have another page in between the sales page, that's an upsell. So if you want to upsell something, that could be the next step. and that could be one page. And if people don't want to take the upsell, then you might have another page that could be a downsell. And then that'll take you in a different direction. And then you'll have the checkout page, and the checkout will include anything they got from the sales page and upsell, or if they were about to buy nothing, then you have the downsell sale. And then you line up all of those steps, and that puts together your funnel. But all of that can be built in our system, and upsell, downsell, that may all sound complicated, but it doesn't have to be. You can really have a straightforward system that works, and you could build it all out and set it and forget it. And then the number two system that you need is a lead nurturing system. And this is really how you build trust with your leads. So, pretty much, these are your email sequence follow ups. So, email campaigns can all be created in the system. SMS text follow ups can all be sent out through the system. So, you don't need another texting tool. You don't need another email marketing tool. And then if you have value-based content like blogs and videos and things like that, you can build those out and host them. The system actually has the blogs. You can create your own blogs, specific blogs. And the system has automation. So you can set all of this stuff to be triggered. Like, say, for instance, if someone, puts in their name and email address, completes a form, that could be a trigger, and that can trigger a lead nurturing sequence that could actually convert someone from a lead to a sale, because that's what a lead nurturing system and sequence is really all about. It's all about that conversion. And like I said earlier, most people don't buy the first time they see you, but they will buy if you stay in front of them long enough. And then the third thing that you need is a sales conversion system. So that's how you turn your leads into paying clients. For some of you, it may be a booking system. For some of you, you may actually want to have somebody book a call with you. And basically when they book a call with you, you can close them on the call. So, you sometimes will have a tool like Calendly to do that, but your system can actually handle a lot of that, right? So the platform, high level, can handle that. Sales funnels, we talked about that. And definitely, I said what they can look like: a landing page, a checkout page, and thank you pages. And it's all following a step in a sequence, and you can build that out using the system as well. Payment processing, you don't have to have another like PayPal and get PayPal to create a button, then get the code, then put it on your site. You don't have to do all of that stuff anymore. You can literally have your payment processing, even if it's PayPal. You can have it connected to the system, and the system can handle all of that. And then you can see all of your sales all in one place. And then if you want to build multiple offers, you can definitely build multiple offers, and all of your orders can be taken from the platform and all using the same system. So that's definitely a system that you want to have. And like, if somebody asks you what comes first, the lead or the sale, is definitely the lead. So you need a lead capturing system, a lead generation system, a lead nurturing system, and a sales conversion system. And then included in that system will be your delivery, right? So that's the fourth system that you would need: a content delivery system. So how do you deliver your product or service? It could be, you may have onboarding calls, you may place your clients into groups, or you may have a members area for memberships. And, this platform can handle all of that. All of your onboarding calls. If you have specific people on your team that handles all of your onboarding, you can put together your CRM, your pipelines, and you can assign the onboarding calls to your team members. So, I mean, the possibilities are really endless. If you have a course, You need a way to deliver your course. Most people will use like Teachable or Kajabi or Thinkific, but this platform has course delivery. So you don't need anything else but this. And then communications, right? When you're onboarding your clients, you can include emails. And what's really also cool about the system that I didn't even mention was the fact that you can create AI sales agents to really handle a lot of this stuff. You know, a trigger could be somebody buys something, and you can have your AI sales agent call that person. Hi, I'm the sales assistant for the AI sales assistant for da 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 da. We noticed you just purchased the product. And we would like to schedule your onboarding call. Do you have a minute to schedule your onboarding call? So you can set that automation and have it do that automatically. So you don't even really have to hire a team member when you have your AI sales agent already incorporated in your platform. So all of that type of automation, including AI, you guys know that I've done webinars where I show people how to build websites using AI, all of that in the system. So this is like next level. It truly, truly is. And the fifth and the last system that you need is a customer support and retention system. This is how you increase the lifetime value of a customer because, customer support and retention could include upsells, memberships, follow-up offer, you can community. The system also has groups. So you can actually build a community. And, if you've ever used school, you can set up your community to look just like school. So most people really forget about this part. They forget about the customer support. They forget about retention. But in reality, your best customer is your last customer. And if you have ever done any type of analysis of your business, especially of your sales and who's purchased from you, I promise you that you will see that you have, that super fan that has always purchased from you and that have always been loyal to you. And those people you should treat extra, extra special. No, but here's the ugly truth, right? Most businesses really look like this. They really have a lot of random content. They don't have any follow-up. A lot of the sales are manual processes and they have inconsistent delivery. And that is not a business. That's survival mode, right? So if you are piecemealing everything together and you have zero automations in your business, yeah, that's rough. That's really rough. And in this day and age, you definitely won't survive. And also, I should say that your business also needs to be set up like a business. Like you really need to have your own business bank account. You need to have a EIN number. You need to have your business set up, registered with the county, just set up properly. You should have a business bank account. Like these things are key. And, to be quite honest with you, you can't even use a system like this if you don't have your business set up properly because you will never be able to, you might be able to send an email, but you'll never be able to send a text message because the text message people today requires a lot of compliance. And one of the things you have to have is your business set up properly. So please, if you do nothing in 2026, make sure your business is set up like a business. And then you'll be able to run it like a real business and put together the business systems that you need so you can run it without burnout and overwhelm. Then the truth of the matter is most businesses will never map out their processes so they can build out the business systems. But please, and like I said, I'm talking about everybody. Just think about the US government for a minute, from the US government to the smallest mom and pop businesses, right? Um, And this is the reason why most business owners and their employees are tired, they're burnt out, they can't scale, and they keep producing more of the same. It's just not sustainable. But here's what I want to tell you guys, right? If you think about the federal government and you think about what's going on right now, especially with the war, with most businesses, let me just say this outright, your slip is showing. And what I mean by that is, you know, how you're not well put together. Your slip is showing because how are you going to go, and start a war and know you don't have the proper number of ammunitions? I mean, in this war right now, I think the United States develops 800 missiles a year and they've already used more than that. So hopefully, we have a nice stockpile, but when you do all of these wars and stuff, it just doesn't make for a good situation. And then, we have uh drone and stuff interceptors that cost millions of dollars to destroy $20,000 drones. So you can have your opponent fighting a cheap war and you're fighting an expensive war. It's like it's just crazy. And then you want to have diplomacy, but then you come in and you're like, I'm just gonna cut, 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 cut. And then you look back and you're like, oh, well, where are the people that go and do diplomacy? Oh, well, you cut them. I mean, it's just crazy. I'm telling you, I've seen it like firsthand in working with, a major governmental agency with the MTA. And, when we had Hurricane Sandy, it's just like, okay, where are the business continuity plans? Right? For the administrative group, you have all of these plans for the operations, but where are the plans for the people that work in the office when the email system goes down? So it was so crazy that I literally, me, little old me, had to put together a business continuity plan for the MTA's administrative team. And then, what happens when new people come and other people go, they just put stuff on the shelf. It's just crazy to me. But at the end of the day, if you don't want to be that way and you want to have a sustainable business, you need to write out all of your processes and how you want your business to go. Not to go to church, but the Bible says that write the vision and make it plain. Then it says so that someone else can come and pick it up and run with it. And so I take that to mean that you have to write out your business processes so clear. So your manuals have to be so clear and so on point, and your job aids that I can pick it up, not really having worked for you at all, and figure it out and run with it and have your business up and running. That's why I just got a new juicer, right? And I love this juicer. But every time you get a new product, what happens? It comes with an operating manual. They're real cute now because they give you like QR codes and all of that stuff, and you could just scan them. But little old me, what I do is I always go to YouTube and I always just type in how to set up this whatever, Nama Juicer 2, whatever it is. And I watch the videos. And of course, they're smart because they have their own YouTube channel and they have all of their videos because they know what their customer needs. Now let me just sit with you with this experience, right? So I purchased the juicer. The juicer came. You should have seen the packaging. It came in a box. It came inside of a box, right? Because I purchased it from Amazon. And then it had another box. Inside, the box had a nice handle. And inside the box, there were four other boxes. One with one compartment, one with another one with two smaller ones with the pieces. And then, it had all of the other, items in a packet, in an envelope, really nice that you could just pull out and read it, right? Then I went to the video on their YouTube channel and watched the video, was able to put it together. One, two, three. Used it right away, made wonderful juice, very little noise because the bottom base is very heavy because it has a really good motor, and any good juicer will have a really good motor, right? So basically, it was quiet. So I can juice and it doesn't make a whole lot of noise. Now, my Vitamix, that joker makes a lot of noise, but it's grinding stuff, but that juicer is just smooth. It's just so awesome. And I love all the juices that I've been making. And I bought some containers. Anyway, I had a great user experience. I ordered it from Amazon. I didn't order it from the manufacturer, but when I ordered it from Amazon, I'm probably sure the manufacturer has a store on Amazon. And I mean, and that makes perfect sense, right? So they probably have to take a cut from their business, but I bought it from Amazon so it could come right away. So I got it fast. And the packaging, my user experience, the customer delivery, top notch, top shelf, packaging, top shelf, videos, instruction, top shelf. That is a great customer experience. So this is how you have to think about it. So, how did I find out about it? I found out about it on social media because I saw all of these people looking at these juicers, right? I was like, what is that? That is a nice juicer, right? So I found out about it from social media. That's how I was generated the leads. I was going to go straight to the manufacturer to buy it. Husband said, no, get it from Amazon. It'll get here faster. So got it from Amazon. Nice delivery, nice packaging, nice customer support in terms of having their own YouTube channel with everything that I need to know. So that is a sustainable business, and that is how you map out a customer journey and the experience that you want to have, and that will make for a very sustainable business. So in the end, those are my Fab Five systems. That's what I call them, the Fabulous Five systems. So if you take some time out to build out the systems and then put them together in one platform, it could simplify your life. You can take your time back and you can make more money because you have systems, right? So I'm going to put this Go High Level link in the chat so you can use it if you want to use it and take a 14-day trial of the system to see how it works for yourself or not. But, I hope you definitely learned something tonight. And, I'm not going to do any demos tonight because I only really wanted to keep you guys here for about an hour, which I did. But if you would like to book a call with me to help get some clarity, I'm going to give you guys this link as well, right? And then I just want to say thank you because this has been great. I definitely hope that you learned something from this and that it's a win for you, right? So I see a lot of you guys were saying the same thing that you guys struggle with a lot of the same issues that I struggle with. And I have to tell you that you don't really have to, though. So if you're interested in definitely, like maybe taking the 14-day trial with a high level. I'm going to drop this link in the chat. Here we go. And if you want to schedule some time with me so that we can, talk about your business and see where maybe some of the bottlenecks are and talk about some of the systems that you might need to put in place, then definitely we can do that as well. And I'm going to put this link in the chat as well. So basically, those are the two links. One is if you want to take the 14-day trial, no pressure. The other one is if you want to book some time with me, and I really, really and truly would love to, get you on my calendar so we could talk about what's going on. So maybe I can help you get some clarity with your business. This would be a free consultation and we can chat about it and I can help you with figuring out what are some of the systems that you need to put in place for your business. and how you can really utilize the platform for those systems so you can really have some peace of mind in your business and you can really have systems that work while you sleep. All right. So I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you, Harriet. Thank you, Kyra. Thank you, Gladys. Thank you, Harriet. I said that. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Kim. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And I hope you enjoyed the webinar. You take care and have a wonderful rest of the night.